Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of Beaut Told. Listen, this is your relationship podcast. So, my hope whenever I have my beautiful guest on is that you can be able to hear from our stories, learn from our stories, and if it was something that could be able to change your life in a positive way, we know it's a story well told on Beaut Told. So, welcome for another great episode coming your way. Now, listen, y'all, anytime y'all see me with this hat, I'm just gonna let you know your girl was having a bad hair day, okay? But that's not gonna stop no show. I'm still here. We showing up. We doing the darn thing. And I have once again a great, phenomenal gent for you guys. So I hope you're ready for him, Mr. Tuwan Spencer. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself, his business, and we're gonna find out more about him before we get into it.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I mean, I'm Tuwan Spencer, aka Mr. Lionhearted. Did not know that's what the hat meant, but we can go
Yes,
back to
that's why I
that.
said wait till the camera start rolling. I'm gonna let you know why I got the hat
Okay,
on.
I'll put it all together. Yeah, man, Tuwan Spencer, aka Mr. Lionhearted, Lionhearted everything, books, outreach, clothes, um, just in general, just being community advocacy, just being out here and doing everything that we can to impact the world that we share. So yeah, Lionhearted do a lot of different things, but at the root of it, um, is being brave and courageous in the face of adversity.
Okay, I was gonna ask you what the
That's what it
name
mean.
mean now. You
That's what it
can't just
mean.
brush over that like
That's
that.
what it mean. It was one of those things where you kind of learn that your success, at least for me in my situations,
Mm-hmm.
was rooted in me overcoming whatever it was that I was afraid of,
Okay.
whatever trauma it was that I dealt. So when I say Lionheart Entertainment, I love music ever since I was a little boy.
Okay.
So why would I not do music, make movies, and turn it into business? Clothes, community, everything I do is a reflection of what I wanted to
Mm.
do when I was a little boy. So
Okay.
I'm living my best life.
All
Like,
right. I
having
know that's right,
fun.
honey.
So
And
that's
doing it
it.
with purpose and
I'm
intent.
trying to tell you all
I
them
love
snaps
it.
that you just did that I'm not gonna do, but I felt
I did
every
it for
last
you.
one of them. Do it.
Did it for you.
Yeah,
Okay. I
bow.
got you.
There it is.
Hey.
She did that.
Well,
Let's
thank
do
you. You know,
it.
it's what I do.
Let's get it. Yeah.
Well, welcome to Beauty Toast. So this is a
Thank you
little
for having me.
different because now we get to,
Mm-hmm.
although you lying, roar. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to see the more softer side of you so we can be able to talk about this topic because
I'm gonna try.
emotional intelligence is so important, y'all. I think that we are failing to realize
Yeah.
just how key it is
Yep.
when you're out here in these dating streets, when you are in your relationships. So I need us to really grow and glow here. So that's what we're gonna get into today. Now I found out before these cameras start rolling that sir, you were once in a marriage, so we have some similarities because
We
I'm a
do.
divorcee as well.
Mm.
Now, I've told you guys in previous episodes what I was able to learn from it because it's not always the person.
For sure.
It started off being that person though. It started off pow, pow, pow.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start to really take a look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, but I could have did this a little bit better.
Yep. Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
So when it comes to, learning from your past, marriage, what was some things that what was some things you learned, especially for the male side, from a gents?
Because when you say from the male side, right?
Yeah, so because us females, I mean, it might look different in regards to, like I said,
Right.
we probably do a lot of pointing at y'all too.
Yeah, for sure.
But eventually, maturity and growth, you should be looking at yourself. So now getting to not just hear my side, which is more probably the feminine side.
Yeah.
For the males, how does it look to realize that okay, my marriage has ended or relationship has ended? Let's kind of make it a little bit more transparent for y'all.
Yeah.
What could I have done better, and what did I learn that I can now be able to better execute in my next relationship?
So beautifully framed question.
Thank you.
I think for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's just time to grow up.
Okay.
Yeah, because the reality is, I think the true healing occurs when it stops being about what the other person did or how you perceived it. Because one thing my mom says to me all the time when I get to overthinking, she goes, "Well, Tawan, what can you control?" And that's what she's basically saying without saying it to me to bother my ego is shut up. Because everything that you're talking about right now, you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Yes, they could have did this, they could have said that, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? So for me, it forced me to, I think, take life a little bit more serious. Because now, and what a lot of people don't talk about, what will be exposed in marriage, as far as the people and their personality traits, it comes out in divorce too.
Oh, for
Oh yeah,
sure.
you see a whole lot of petty, you see a whole lot
Yeah.
of hurt, um, and I wallowed in hurt for a very long time.
Okay.
And so it
That's
was kind of
honest.
one of those things where I got down to a broken point,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to really redefine what mattered in my life. So it was God, it was family, it was
Yeah.
all these different things that now are taking root because there's nothing else for me to latch onto.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is why if you was in a marriage and you wasn't as attentive as you know you should have been.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you ain't always give me something to listen to. Is that what that's about though? Like, and you might be right. They might not be saying anything,
Right.
but they saying something that mattered to them. And your
Yeah.
heart posture should be in that. So it's like when I started to grow up, what I said mattered more. How
Mm-hmm.
I loved on people mattered more. Where I went mattered more. You start to move with more intention
Yeah.
because in that divorce process, man, it's almost like something get your soul getting torn down the middle. Even when you think it don't matter, you start to realize the legal ramifications, the identity thing, because
Yeah.
you got to train yourself to be single again.
Yeah.
And that is a weird game of back and forth. I was single before I got married. Now I'm married. It almost felt like you pretending to be single. Because the way you see
Yeah.
the world and relationships is still kind of like I'm used to, having a person.
Yeah.
And whoa, what? That's scary.
That is.
Trying to date like that.
It's definitely scary. And then it's a different time. When
Mm-hmm.
you get back out here, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
Nah.
how do you date? You know what I mean? I
Yeah, it's
think
a
I
lot of
had
thugs out
to
here.
figure that out too.
It's
Like, how do
a
I
lot of
date?
thugs out here.
Yeah, oh,
No, some of these women.
I can
You said Lionhearted
listen.
was like this.
Uh-huh.
You go on a date, try to open the door, you might get stolen on. This is a different
That's
type of situation. It's a different type of situation. I'm
that's
telling you.
true. You got a point.
I had a woman in the past
Uh-huh.
get upset
Uh-huh.
that I opened the door. Why you think I need this? Why you think I dated a woman and her daughter got upset that I held the door open? And I'm looking at the mom, the same thing that you would not date a man for. Why are
Right.
you not correcting this young lady on, like,
This
what
is
did I
how they
do?
should be
Hey,
treating you.
hey man, different time. Different time.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
it get crazy.
Yeah, it
It get
does.
crazy.
Cause I mean,
Yeah,
I see
crazy.
some craziness just on Instagram alone. So
Got to stay off of that.
yeah.
I need a break from
Do
that.
not base your,
Mm-mm.
hopes and relationship dreams
Mm-mm.
on that, by the way.
Nope.
Cause I done watched so many like cute little couples on there that I'm like, oh my God, I just love them. Fall apart right before my eyes. And I'm like, but they seem so happy.
Mm.
So I've just learned, yeah, in this world
said-
of living and dating and
You said we could look at the camera when we got something
yeah,
serious to say.
yes.
Content don't cover up nonsense. It don't matter how
Ooh.
many people like you. If you ain't good with whatever's going on inside of you, it's gonna come out. That's what happens when you talk about success, life, relationship. What you manifest in your day to day is a reflection of what you think, practice, and live internally. Your life look like what you see. So if you keep making content with these women and faking to be happy, everybody starts to look at you as a source of happiness. But since it doesn't exist inside of you, you will slowly combust yourself. So content don't cover nonsense. Make where you at and allow God to take you to a different space. That was a commercial.
I see
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I like
I
how
ain't
you
playing
slid it
games.
in back
Yeah.
to the schedule, regular
Let's do it.
schedule program.
Let's do that. Yeah, shut up. Shut up.
I love it. No, I like I said, I appreciate you just being honest
Mm-hmm.
in your journey because it is a journey. You know what I mean? When you go from something that was the norm, being married to, now back into the singleness. And really also you're learning how to heal from that because that's not something that you should just sign them divorce papers and then next week you on a date with Tammy. You know what I'm saying? No offense to Tammy.
Yep.
But but it's real, we feel the need to just hurry up and move on instead of taking the time to heal. So how did healing look for you? Because we're gonna get to emotional intelligence, by the way, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm working us up to that point.
Yep. It was honesty.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to be honest about so many different things. And a lot of those conversations were not conversations that I wanted to have.
Of course.
I could be real, right?
I need you to be nothing but.
Listen, hey, because just was having a conversation with some of my boys. Infidelity, right?
Yeah.
fellas, I think sometimes because we're hurting
Mm-hmm.
and don't know how to communicate the hurt,
Mm-hmm.
we subconsciously act and move in ways that are representative of hurt, but we still ain't really talking about it.
Yeah.
And so for me, whether it's infidelity, whether it's just lies of omission,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's spiritual, that's a real big one.
Yeah,
Becoming
it is.
frustrated and walking away from the responsibilities of
Mm.
what comes in that relationship spiritually. I would tell everybody that to achieve the true healing in all of those spaces, you got to be vulnerable with the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to stop lying to yourself. That's why
Yeah.
the first thing I said was growing up.
Yeah.
Hey, I struggle with this. And one of the things that I realized in that process, I had to deal with abandonment trauma that I wasn't dealing with because I
Okay.
was successful.
Right.
So I was
Right.
good at something, so that can't really be a problem because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, you are having issues trusting women because of the experiences you've had with women.
Mm.
So how does that translate to a woman that you love? It? We like to praise people for being able to endure the craziest parts of us.
Yep.
But the
Craziness.
reality is it's nobody's job to do that.
Yeah.
It's almost like me telling a woman, hey, I like you, but I gotta put you through the ringer to see if it's safe to. So
Mm.
I want you to do this, do that, and do that. Okay, you did all of that. Okay, I'm gonna love you now. But by the time I'm sharing love, she's
She's
exhausted.
already, yep.
She's
She's
exhausted.
to the
And we
point of
do
fed
that
up.
so much because we haven't healed from the stuff that's hurting. So in our
Mm-hmm.
mind, if we do these things, which often they just look like a bunch of games,
Yeah.
even though it's spending that time in that healing process allowed me to not pretend stuff wasn't happening, but
Mm-hmm.
to be emotionally mature, have a high enough level of emotional intelligence to be able to say, this is what's going on. So
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I was dating this woman, and this I'm coming off of
Of
divorce,
course.
and I, I don't know how I feel about everything.
Okay.
Um, and I wasn't doing some of the stuff that I usually do because of how I was feeling. So I'm not doing music. I'm not making content. I ain't going to the gym. I'm not laughing. I'm just existing because I'm still
Mm.
healing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we go sit down in this church service, and there's a dude sitting in front of us, and dude look like he eat weights. You ever seen a dude so
Mm.
big that it's like for what?
Yes.
For what?
I
Like,
don't be getting that either, but
man, I'm like, what? There's no way that that's functionally good for anything you have to do, unless
Mm-hmm.
you fight bears on a day-to-day basis. I mean, dude was big,
Mm.
and so coming from a place where I was once the type of guy who always did those things,
Okay.
but I just couldn't get to it. Immediately felt insecure. Immediately, now I'm
Oh,
looking and I'm like,
okay.
oh, is she gonna be looking?
She
But
gonna like,
what do
yeah.
I start doing now? I'm acting different with her.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't even did. She hasn't said anything to
Yep.
me. She's trying to sit by me, her leg touch me. I'm trying to posture now. I'm going through all these
Oh, dang.
transitions, and I ended up coming to her before we left, and I was like, hey, I just wanted to tell you, if in case you recognize some different energy,
Mm-hmm.
that this is what I had going on. I was in
Mm.
my space like this, and I was talking to her, and it made me feel so good. So what I
Wow.
will tell people is part of the benefit in healing is you get
Mm-hmm.
to have those moments in your process where you almost feel like I beat it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
instead of me
did.
being mad at
You
you and
did.
acting weird, I'm telling you, hey, this was about me, and you know what I'm saying, and I'm sorry for it. Now, side note, ladies, because we talk about emotionally mature
Yeah, come
men.
on. Yeah.
Side note, when that happens,
Uh-huh.
we act excited about it
Yeah.
because we want it to happen again.
For sure.
Yeah, I tell her all
We
of this
welcome
deep
that.
stuff, and I'm so proud of myself. And she like, oh, okay. I'm in my head like, well, I ain't telling you nothing else, but I did it.
Oh, right,
But I
right.
did
But
it.
you sort of thinking it.
But
Like,
that's
all
but that's
right.
part but that's part of this whole journey, like you talked about earlier, for all of this stuff. It is a
Mm-hmm.
process,
Yes.
and I tell people this: I'm not responsible for healing any person,
Right.
but I am responsible for creating an environment for them to heal in.
Okay.
When you do something like that for a woman or a man, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be able, whether you do it prayerfully, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's just your emotional, whatever you put on it,
Right.
to where you're able to say, okay, this is a moment. This is
Mm.
something. Okay, that was vulnerability.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got to get up and fake, pretend, clap. The more dramatic you can be to celebrate it, the better. Get up, go get something to eat, go cook dinner, go whatever it is that you do.
Yes.
because we want to celebrate people being brave enough to deal with
to be
themselves.
open. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think about that.
I think you brought up a very good point because and I've only heard this from the gents, I'm not a man, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I've heard that, the fact of you guys needing a safe place to be able to express yourself, it means so much though. So like you said, when you were able to check yourself, like let's not go over that part. You were able to check yourself and realize like, wait, I'm tripping. Like you said, she ain't did nothing to me.
She ain't do nothing.
And I'm just all in my head.
She ain't do nothing.
So to be able to be open and communicate that we do, beauties, we gotta hype them up, almost like we do our children, for those who have children, hype them up because they need that. Affirmation for men and women is very important and it really does help. It helps us to be able to continue to grow in that area where, we're not perfect. So, okay.
And let me add this caveat, like real quick,
right
like
ahead.
The way that we've been doing it, it don't work.
It doesn't.
It would be. I would understand the disagreement if it worked, but it's not. So part of what I do is I go and talk to young men and older men. I just speak to communities on different issues relating to emotional and social health. This is something that I do. I get the privilege of having these conversations. So I get the privilege of doing that.
Yeah.
I'll talk to the older men after hearing a comment like, well, we need the men like back in the day that used to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. I've had conversations with those men.
Okay.
Where they've encouraged me to not do those things. And I say, well, but that's what we getting. They like, if I could have did anything, I would have did what I actually desired to do and not what people told me to do. The proof of that is go to one of your great-grandparents' funerals and realize how many other families he had on the side.
Yeah.
So it's like we're under the illusion that this stuff is ultimately leading to happiness, and that's what it is. So when we talk about the gender wars today, right? Oh, it should still be this. It should still be. Man, I'm not endorsing gender wars. What I'm saying is both sides have felt like this for a very long time. Social media just gave everybody a voice.
Yeah.
So it's not about trying to tell people to stop talking. Let's listen and create solutions. My great-great-grandfather did not tell me to just go to work, build a house, and die. He was very specific. Son, you have gifts. Go use them.
Yeah.
You should be with a woman that you can be safe with emotionally. I don't even want to say his title because I feel like people gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. And I love you, so I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
Before I got married, I was having a conversation with this gentleman. And I was telling him my concerns, some of the stuff I'm voicing. Like, I don't want to be in a marriage where I just got to get used to not being loved on or not being considered. Well, man, that's why you got to have a relationship with God, because the reality is they ain't going to be able to do nothing. It just is what it is. And I'm listening to him talk and I get what he was saying.
Right.
But everything in me was like, oh, that sounds like prison.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds like jail.
Yeah.
You telling me, and this is a very well-known, respected, well-traveled person in the Christian sphere. And this is the advice he's giving me about marriage. Wow. Been married 20 plus years. You ain't new to this.
Right.
But to tell me that I would have to accept something that would make me feel how it has made me feel in the past.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. Like, and this is why stuff like even what we're doing today is so important.
It's definitely important.
Because we need to hear this. It needs to be about, I want to know how to do a better job at loving you. I don't want to know how to be a better person at telling you how to be. Right. I don't know your experience. I don't know what you feel when you walk out the door. I know what I go through. But I know if we able to sit down and have meetings where we actually get to learn each other, maybe we can figure out what each other need. I'm not going to tell you how I feel your walk supposed to look.
Right.
But as a woman, you need to do, no, as a woman, I just need you to be you and commit every day to being better.
That's true.
And if you care about me, you just trying to create a space where I can do that on my journey. And that's it. Like, so for me, I'm not mad at none of that. I've been at panels where you'll talk to women and you'll feel the pain.
Yeah.
It ain't even just them. I hate men. They been hurt.
They've been hurt real
so
bad.
I've had the privilege of, since I had these conversations so often, I get to learn how to listen.
Okay.
And I get to listen, like, and if you listen to a woman discuss these things long enough, it is not about you. You listen to her talk about this stuff long enough, the wall will break.
Wow.
Our thing is being able to sit through it despite our ego to get to the point where you've gotten it out.
Right.
Because now you said, yeah, you don't do this. And I'm thinking, woman, what?
Right.
I'll do what? Like, so your mind go to that.
For
And it's the
sure.
same thing when a woman deals with a man. When you fall out with a dude, first thing he say, you ain't gonna disrespect me.
Yeah.
He don't start talking about love me and light candles, some of the stuff that might matter to somebody else. It's a respect thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between these boys don't never clean up, they need to get this together. I'd have told you to do that 3 times. And you putting your hand on them and saying these dudes are not doing a good job at representing the man I know you are. And I need your help with that.
Right, right.
It ain't about having it perfect. It's just about having enough patience. How do I need to speak to you?
Right.
Versus what I actually want to say.
Definitely.
I just care more about the other side than just being right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I be saying dope stuff.
Oh, sometimes.
Sometimes I get lucky.
No. This is really good because I think that again, we just need to learn how to respect one another.
Yes,
I think that's a huge one as well that I gather from your answer is that we got to learn how to have that respect factor because that is going to help you to convey what you're needing to say. And what is the old term? Is not what you say, but how you say it.
Yep.
Like that's so true, and it's not just as children. It is for your full life. It really is how you say it that a person can be able to receive it in that way, and not get offensive or defensive, I should say, and ready to attack. Because now we can get nowhere. Because I know when I once was married, that was one of the things. Like, honey, he would say something wrong to me. Automatically, I'm in defense mode and I'm ready. I'm ready to knock if you butt. You feel me? Like, who you think you're talking to?
Oh, you bet that.
Listen.
Okay.
We not about to do this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So now it probably was something so minor that now has exploded into this huge, ridiculous debate, fight, fallout, stuff getting thrown. All this stuff crazy. I'll tell y'all, it got crazy. But you learn and you grow.
You grow. Kevin Hart said it. Kevin Hart said it on one of his specials. It was like, watch a couple with time argue and look how different the argument goes.
Oh, for sure.
They could be at each other's neck over a cup of juice in the refrigerator. You would hear all types of stuff that don't got because it's a level of time in. And my thing is, when you don't deal with this stuff, you end up building so much resentment. Like that, like especially I think if you haven't dealt with unresolved abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Because how you parlay the disappointment in that is I can take on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if for those that want to disagree with that, because I get it, when you're talking to trauma, your natural inclination is to push against it.
Yep.
If you look at most men that we're referring to in specific communities, let's target Black communities that might struggle with abandonment on the men's side. Everything that they ask for is authoritative. And that's the safest way to feel like you got something figured out. If everything was put away from you, how much can I control?
Okay.
How much can I control? So I want to control so the woman got to talk to me like this. She got to go here. It don't even matter. You don't even get to a point of what I might need to do to make that woman comfortable doing it because you've never experienced that. Everything has been on the table to be gone. If you've grown up in these environments where you don't see that consistently, it's only a matter of time. So everything becomes about how can I can do this. So if I'm talking to a woman and she's voicing a concern, it's disrespect. No, it's not. No. She's just going against what you're saying. But because everybody going against what you're saying has always been met with such force or aggression, or you go into these environments and you have to prove who you are just standing there. I like men do it with men way more than women do it with us, but I've had to walk in rooms and it's more about how I look about what I could bring to a table as opposed to what I'm actually doing. Like I've had doors closed because a man sees another man and you see his brilliance, you see his connection, you see his passion, and you get uncomfortable by that and you shut it down. So we don't even know how to deal with a successful Black man. Wow. Oftentimes when we're in the same room with him. A lot of us aren't happy to see you there. We're competing with you. And that same mentality has trickled down into when we dating in these households. A lot of us feel like we competing with the women that we're supposed to be building with.
Wow.
You don't know how to articulate these emotions, so you do stuff because if we loving right, there's a duty associated to it. So yeah, my old lady made me mad, but I still want her to be straight. So I'm gonna go pick that up. Right. I'm gonna go make sure this done. You still doing it, but in the back of your mind, you don't like her. I'm just gonna say it plain. You don't like her. So the more time y'all spend with you just doing this stuff and you don't like her, now you talking different, now you acting strange, And this is where that stuff, I tell people, like, really look at your relationships. I promise you, it wasn't an argument. It was where resentment got seated and grew wild that you started to see everything that went wrong. Because in the midst of y'all beefing, when the last time y'all, like, I'm big on that. Hug me for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I know you mad at me, but you ain't about to let me go. Now listen, you was doing this earlier. I do this around you. We locked in, twin.
Right.
We locked in, twin. You ain't, we here. You want to go to the kitchen? I'll pick you up and take you in there. But I'm hugging you for 20 seconds, and you ain't going nowhere. And you got to learn how to reprogram your mind.
That's good.
In these spaces, and you don't realize how much of this is trauma. You think that this is just you.
Yeah.
Because they've been telling you this you from the start.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to be strong all the time. So when you hurt, that feel like weakness. I heard a dude doing an interview. He said, "Yeah, my eyes is crying." And we was like, "What? What, brother? You crying?
You're crying.
You
okay?
crying? No, yeah, something wrong with my eyes. They crying."
Something
like, no, like, but why you disassociating yourself with just being human?
Yeah.
It's we jacked up out here, fellas. So heal.
Yes.
Prioritize the healing, and the right woman, she ain't gonna jeopardize the healing.
That's true.
That don't mean it's gonna always feel good. If you raggedy, she's supposed to be able to say that.
Yeah.
She's supposed to.
she's
supposed to be.
Able to.
We do that with our brothers all the time.
That's true. In a heartbeat.
Come on, one of my homies come here and he ain't dressed right. I'm telling them, "Oh, bro, you got to try again."
Like, go back.
Oh no, it's gonna be important people here. You got what is that? Hey, you don't got a suit. We go get you a suit before we. You can't wear that, brother.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So why can't your woman? You know, like, I don't know, man. Like, to me, it ain't that. Like, going through my process taught me, like, what is the point of having that woman if you can't have that space?
Wow.
And if it's stuff that's making you uncomfortable with having that, it is your responsibility to discuss that stuff. You got to. You don't deserve a woman who not equipped for that, and that woman don't deserve a man who ain't equipped for that either.
Okay, all right. Well, I hope y'all listening in and hearing clearly, okay? Because he's not lying. And in a world where we have so many people who, like you said, it is some gender wars going on out here. It is a lot going on out here. And a friend of mine, ironically enough, we both are pretty familiar with this situation.
Okay. All right.
So I have a friend of mine, or I should say an ex of mine, basically. And he brought to my attention, he was doing something online on TikTok. He was basically doing like a little, probably 30 seconds to a minute clip. Hey, all the single ladies, I got some great guys for you. You know, I just need to know, what's your likes, what's your dislikes, get you in some nice, healthy relationships. DM me, comment me, let me know. I guess this thing took off in regards to views. It got like 78,000 views of him announcing that for the women. He tried the same thing with the men. Got about like maybe 3,000. It's a huge disconnect. And I'm trying to figure out, because like you said, platforms like this and definitely, you just coming on here to be able to help my gents out and my beauties for real. Why do you think that is in regards to why there are so many available women, my beauties out here, but there are very, very minimal men to be able to match up with?
Well, just first of all, it's a couple of things, because that was a lot. It's a couple of things in there. The first one is available is a very loose term.
Okay. Talk about it.
Like, you single, but you still struggling with how you speak.
Yeah.
You still struggling with how you. So this man's supposed to provide a lifestyle for you, provide protection for you, but he can't tell you sit down without you screaming.
That's true.
You just single. You're not available.
Okay.
And I would even tell men to preface that by that. I don't try to make a woman be anything. I would prefer to learn more about who you are, because whoever I'm going to build a relationship with, listen, that's who I'm going to get. Don't act like who you think I need you to be, because you ain't going to maintain that. So a lot of that, there are a lot of men that are available and they're great guys. I'm big on accountability, right? If I choose to go to Burger King, because they did something with the flamboyant rapper, and I seen the commercial and it was dripping down the side, and it was all types of cheese and whoo. But I know it ain't good for me. But I
It's
go get
not.
it anyway.
That's true.
I eat it and then I complain about how I feel afterwards.
Yep.
Oh man, I broke out some, whatever the situation was. I don't
Mhm.
feel good, right? You available, but romantically, you still shop at Burger King. And
Okay.
you mad because there's available.
True.
You just getting a burger from Burger King.
Yeah.
You ain't like I'm not gonna get mad at Burger King for doing what Burger King does.
By the way, Burger King, send me a check.
Burger King definitely prove us wrong. Come back and listen. But I'm not gonna get mad at them for doing that because I
Yeah.
know that there's a market that they're serving. But if I want some substantial,
Yeah.
I want something that's wholesome, probably at the grocery store.
Yep.
So first thing I would say is like, where you meeting these brothers at? So
True.
I think
That's true.
and then here's another thing. This is with the guys, right? I don't think as many of us feel as confident as I think sometimes the world thinks we do. If it's 20 dudes in a room, it's probably 2 or 3 of them that could go out to the party and talk to whoever they want.
That's true.
The other ones are just like happy to be there.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to be no type of way, but it ain't the same level of confidence. It's not. So when you say something like a dating show, as a man, do you know how you got to have a certain level of confidence?
For sure.
So I'm gonna stand in front of, especially with the balloon pop stuff that they've been doing lately.
Lord,
Like if you don't really rock with you, to go out there and hear pop, pop, pop. I watch for weird stuff. I'm gonna listen. I watch the highlights. I don't care about who dunked it. I look at the reactions. Look at the people and how they reacted. That's the funny part. I always watch when the balloons get popped, how the people jump. Like that's interesting to me because it's something like you are rejecting people while simultaneously associating the noise with it at the same time.
Yeah.
So you watch dudes walk out embracing for it. You watch them react when it happened. These brothers don't believe that they got it like what I think people do. Women are y'all beautiful, y'all smart, and y'all necessary in every way possible for the creation and the enjoyment of life.
Okay.
A lot of these dudes is still hiding behind who they think they should be. So when I see something where it's gonna be this big number of women engaging in that platform, I think a lot of these women they have an idea of what they want. But I think the more important number, in all fairness, by the time you get down to the people that's viewing it that's worth it, it'll probably look like the men numbers. It'll probably look like the men's numbers.
Okay.
And that's again, this ain't love women.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the most appreciative way possible. This ain't, how's this relationship? I love my mama. I just got done texting her and I'm a FaceTime her when I get in the car.
Okay.
I love my old lady.
Okay.
She mean everything to me.
Love it.
I'm saying the reality of the situation is, as we talking about, it's just not that. So I still would, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is more, man. So you room full of attractive women. Some of the young men I mentor for my mentee program, I talk to them like that. Like, what's the thing that makes them special?
Yeah.
So if everybody is dressing away, look away, move away, what's the thing? So yeah, the number might be 70,000, such and such, or whatever. By the time you get through going through what's worth actually viewing,
yeah, that's true.
It'll be like the dude numbers.
Wow.
It'll be like the dude numbers. And you might have to minus us by a couple of hundred. Because most of us is not actually getting in front of the camera.
That's true.
We're going to just send you DMs and like a bunch of your pictures. And hope you send us a message. We're not about to.
Quiet place.
No, these dudes ain't about to. Man, what? Like, no, man. So, nah, we ain't for none of that. But again, in the solution, because I'm big on that.
Yeah.
When it comes to dating, this is some advice I would give to women. Instead of trying to see if he love you, if you're really serious about dude, right? This who you want to be with. Ask him what the plan is for y'all in 5 years. Because a man who love you is creating a plan for you. It ain't just about me liking you. Right. If I really want to be with you, how can we make this better in some years? A man who loves you, when y'all talk about protection and vision, that's what it look like. It ain't got to always be about where they at and what they got right now.
Right.
If there's a plan and they can execute it to get to a certain spot, that's the man you build with. Because it ain't about you liking me.
That's true.
It's the duty of protecting what we got. And for men, I would tell you,
I'm scared to know.
For the sake of we on camera. So for the sake
Okay.
of get with a woman, get with a woman who knows where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
but still loves where you at more. Because
Mm.
sometimes that relationship with that woman falls off because she's so in love with who you're gonna become that
Yeah.
she creates an idea of what it's gonna look like to get there.
Yep. I was gonna
So now
say.
it's like he ain't reaching his potential. He ain't doing enough. He is, and the proof of that is as soon as you gone,
Yep.
now he go do all
That's
that
when he
stuff.
does all the
Now he
things.
does all of the things. So it's
Yep.
like you could keep saying, "Oh, that was him," but the reality is, as soon as the space cleared up.
Mm.
So my thing is always, I don't lead with what I've done. I love
Wow.
if I'm out with somebody and they have no idea who I am.
Okay.
I'm not mentioning, oh, that's a cool shirt. Yeah, I just bought it. I'm
You
not.
you don't even
I'm
you
not.
don't even finish you?
I'm not saying nothing about none of the brand.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
talking about none of that because I want to connect with you,
Okay. That's fair.
and everything else with you that's gonna come over time.
That's true.
So I just want to know who you are, and then we
Okay.
can, like, yeah, all that, and that's what I need emotionally.
Yeah.
I don't need. I got enough people that's. Can you sign this? Can you talk to these people? Can you go do that?
Mm.
Man, man, listen. I just want to. I just want to. That safe space you talked about, and I
Yeah.
realize you don't need a bunch of stuff in that to feel safe.
You don't. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, a lot of these things, the materialistic stuff, it will come with time. So, like your point, because I forgot what I was listening to where they said that most healthy marriages are the ones that got it out the mud together. So it wasn't the fact that the man had to be
Mm-hmm.
tall, dark, handsome, making six figures and all that type of stuff, you know. And again, she ain't even matching up to that. So I don't
Woo!
entertain
Whoa!
that. I mean, I love
Whoa!
my beauties. Don't get me wrong,
Listen,
but it was far
I'm,
fetched when that was a thing. I said, how can you expect somebody to have this and you don't even have half of
I
it?
just appreciate the honesty. I'm not. Go ahead, do your thing. Get
Yeah.
them together.
So let's be real. And like I said, a lot of I forget what I was watching where they said when they did the actual research into it that most healthy relationships are the ones that have done it together, have decided to see the vision
Mm-hmm.
of each other, work side by side as a couple and as a partnership and got it together. And now they're live and they're thriving and it's stress free, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Or
yeah,
I won't say stress free to
I
100%,
got you. Yeah.
but it's definitely stressless compared to some that
Mm-hmm.
are just struggling to try
Mm-hmm.
to make it work. Because on the flip side of it, let's say if a beauty, I'm gonna have to use my beauties as examples because I thought this was crazy. But if a beauty finds a man that's making that 6 7 figures that is, ooh, he's so fine, but we dismiss the fact that okay, he also over with
Mm-hmm.
Susie, he
Mm-hmm.
over here with Ann, he over here, and I don't know
He
why I'm
got
using all these
options.
old folks' names, but
He got. Because I was about to say, how old is his brother? But he got he got options for
oh
sure.
no,
He got
but he
options.
got options,
Bingo
and he
night ain't never
doesn't
been the
feel
same.
obligated to have to stay faithful to you. So is it really worth it?
And even this though, so like outside of faithfulness, because that's 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
That man has options because to the
Mm-hmm.
point of some of the same stuff we hear people complain about on these podcasts when they talking about the gender war. If it's not a lot of good options, and
Mm-hmm.
you run into a good option,
Right.
this is why for me, like a good man, you can name all of those things, but it has to be about character and discipline.
Oh, for
It
sure.
got to be about that
All
because
day.
if he's making six figures and he has all those options, but he's disciplined enough not to explore them, that's a good man. But the discipline that you're attracted to can be in a man who not making six figures. So it's not about, and this be my thing. Now look, Buttes,
Come
beauties.
on.
This
Beauty
Mr.
suggests come
Lionhearted.
out. Okay.
Your neighborhood line. For some reason, I just be on people porches in the ghetto talking to them. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just out here. Listen, this is the thing. Pick a struggle. Because in 1 second,
Mm.
well, in 1 second, you turn a house into a home.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the next second, you got this man with all this raw potential that been with you for 3 4 5 years, and he still ain't got nothing.
Mm.
In one breath, you make stuff greater. In the next breath, oh, it's just him. He ain't moving the right way.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, at some point you have to pick. I just don't. And it's scriptures for that.
It
I
is
don't.
scriptures for
It's
that. It
scriptures that I'm
is.
not just saying this stuff.
Proverbs, I think, has
Cause
a nice amount of
man,
it
listen.
says a wise woman will build up her home, but a foolish one will tear it down.
It's one in James where they talk about when they talk about a woman not having to do anything. They talk about if your man is lacking in belief, carry yourself in such a way
Oof.
to where he'll be interested to pick like why you like that?
Wow.
Why are you like that? You don't so this notion that it's like you watch, and I say this painfully. I don't say this
Okay.
judgmentally.
No.
I got a
Let's be
daughter
real.
who I
Yeah.
love more than anything. And I like part of me raising her is showing her how you don't gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you watch this this love affair with this hyper independence, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be like this, I gotta do that. A lot of women, when they describe what makes them attractive, they rattle off stuff like what they would for a man.
Yeah.
I'm like, understand the psychology in that. You have created what you feel like you're looking for.
Yeah.
So you went and got the job, you make over 6 figures, you got all this other stuff, and every dude you talk to complains about your mouth. Every dude you talk to.
Oof.
Again, this ain't about judging. I'm saying like, yo, at what point do you realize it's not about any of that stuff you name it?
Yep.
That man could be a millionaire, go into Burger King. Shout out Burger King. She needs the sponsorship. We'll walk in there, see that woman at the register, and be so enamored with how she treats him that he will give her everything.
Yep.
So all this, I ain't doing ain't no prenup, ain't no da-da-da-da. All the stuff you screaming gotta go away.
Yeah.
For the woman who move in a certain type of way, she don't even gotta have those conversations. She don't even gotta talk to that man about that.
Okay.
And this has always been, even when it comes to looking at old relationships, it's like, if I'm dating a woman and she cheats on me, I ain't working past that, I'm done. I would be a fool not to pay attention when she's saying, yeah, I cheated, that was wrong, but you ain't never at the house, and it really made me feel like the next woman I get with ain't gonna desire for me to be at the house. It don't, just because somebody did something wrong, that'll absolve you of the process of listening to be better.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta understand, like, ain't none of this stuff just happening just to be happening when it come to your relationships. You can't tell me if you around this man all the time, right? And he still lacks the ability to have an emotional conversation. And you telling me you've been with him for 2 years and he still can't talk to you? Right. And you saying, oh, well, that's him, he got to mature. Now, this is my question. If that's the truth and you've done what you can, right, and you walking in what you're supposed to be walking in, why are you still there?
Why are you still there? Yeah.
Like, people tell on themselves before the conversation started. If I do everything right and you still moving away, I'm not staying there. Clearly, I can't do nothing here.
Yeah.
But you know somewhere subconsciously that it's a way. So yeah, okay, you believe in his vision, but when he make you upset, you belittle and emasculate him.
Right.
You know that about yourself.
Yep.
Well, if he was moving the right way, the one that irritate me is this whole I'll follow when you lead correctly. Imagine, listen, and they love that one, but I'm saying, like, imagine me as a man. I say I want to be with you, right?
Right.
And I'm talking to you and we having a conversation. I'm like, yeah, I want to do all this for you. You worth this. I think that. And I'm going to give you all that love. And you like, oh, yeah, I like that. That sounds good. And I'm like, yeah, right after you show me, though.
Ooh,
that's you.
Yeah,
right after you show me, I got you.
You're worthy of this.
I'm going to give you everything. But you got to do. And it sounds ridiculous, bro. Like, I walk in me.
Yeah.
And if I get around a woman who makes it hard for me to be that fullness that I'm walking in, that's not my woman. That's not my woman. It's not even, we on the phone, you raising your voice, you feel like you got to yell. Okay, I'm cool. It was good.
Yeah, no, seriously, you gotta know.
Doing that.
Yep.
Come on.
That's some standards and boundaries. Like, we just gotta know when to cut it off. You brought up a good point in regards to the infidelity, because that was one of the things that I was,
let's talk about it.
Not saying, but saying when I was, pow, because it was easy. Okay, I like how you sipping that tea now.
I did. I tried to. You caught it. Go ahead.
Tea time. Okay.
Yep.
So it was easy for me to be like, oh, but you cheated. That was my reasoning. But you cheated. But when it really boiled down to it, when I really took the time to shut up and really pay attention to, but why? But why though? Because, I had to really think about that to myself, because it was more than just one person. It was more than one occurrence. So I really had to realize, like, okay, yes, there might have been some things going on with him, but there also was a part that I played into why you felt the need to find it in another female. You know what I mean? So again, it does take us having to get out of ourselves and check ourselves. You know what I mean?
I love you, but I don't know why I'm afraid to. Like no,
Right.
like
No, for
real
real.
stuff.
No,
I
for
love you, but I
real.
don't know. I'm saying that as a man
Yeah.
who has been in that situation, and a lot of people don't use these cameras to tell that side of their story. They try
Mm-hmm.
to present themselves as perfect. Hey,
Yes.
part of what makes me, I believe, a good man today
Yeah.
is I made a lot of mistakes and had grace in the past.
Come on.
So when I see, oh my goodness, you so great at, hey, you would have met me 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I might have
Different
robbed you.
story.
I might have depended on where I was at in life, like what was happening. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Ain't no
that's
telling who you
real.
might have got, but it's that. It's especially when a woman is intentionally trying to love you. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where we got to connect at.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
I've never experienced the love you offering me,
Yeah.
why are you expecting me to be able to handle that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying that it's your responsibility to teach me. I'm not telling anybody to do that.
Right.
But what I am saying is, if he ain't never had a dude or a woman that comes in and rubs his shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
ask him how his day is.
Mm-hmm.
None of this stuff is even sexual in nature. It's just the physical touch of intimacy.
Yes.
It's the love. It's the consideration. It's the I want to spend. If he ain't never experienced that and you giving it to him, I bet your bottom dollar is terrifying. It don't feel as good as you think it does. It's scary.
Wow.
It's scary to talk to a man who like, hey, what you think? Well, I feel like, and he listening. And he listening. Okay, well, what can I do to make this better? But you got to understand, like, people not doing that from a space of, oh, I just got it figured out, man. What if this is my theory?
Okay.
What if everybody that's practicing healthy love is just being brave enough to try to give a version of it in the first place? What if it's never about mastering it, but everybody consciously makes a choice in every situation to try to love in a way that's healthy?
Wow.
I ain't never really got it figured out. I just know I like and care about you so much
Right.
that I feel like it's a way I should talk to you.
Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
So why you better say that? That's all I really want us to get to. And emotional intelligence is that it's the communication. It is the checking of yourself. It is what could I have did better in that situation. It's okay to make mistakes.
Yep.
You might have found yourself raising your voice, but it's the, oh, let me calm down.
I messed up.
Let me
I'm
calm
sorry.
down. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it really is just how you handle the conflict. It's how you handle when someone is being open and honest with you. Can you be that person to receive it, hear it for what it is now? Don't just have your selective hearing. Hear it for what it is, and be able to graciously, disagree. Maybe you don't agree with it all the way, but be gracious enough to disagree.
You can tell when stuff hit you because you be like, don't just she blink 15 times. don't just
eyelashes.
don't just be saying stuff. Yeah, no, it's just. I mean, you're right though. Like I think it's really that. It's the ability to share the space of I'm afraid with somebody instead of making decisions because of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to act like I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm saying like one of my superpower, the thing that kind of my moment where I became Spider-Man, where I got bit and all my powers came, was in that moment sharing that with that woman where I was like, yo, because it made it lose its power.
Come on.
It was no longer, it was like, yo, okay, so life can go on after this. I don't gotta act hard now. I don't gotta be distant. I told her. You know what I'm saying? And now I get to learn even more because I get to look at her reaction.
Yep.
Like, is that feeding me in that moment?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Right.
It didn't feed me. Now, I knew what I did was a good thing, but here comes the other part of learning as it relates to emotional intelligence. You get to see like, dang, okay, so you can do this stuff the right way, and some people could just not be ready for it.
Yeah.
It don't mean they're wrong. They just not ready.
Just not there.
And that's okay. Hey, that's not gonna work for me because I'm trying to feed. I'm trying to feed this energy, this muscle of sensitivity, of vulnerability and compassion. And baby girl, you too much of a thug for me. You too gangster. I can't like what you want me to do.
Yeah.
I'm used to being around other gangsters. We move with each other differently.
Yeah.
You moving like one. What I need that for?
Right.
That's back
not what
there.
you're looking for. Right.
I'm not trying to come in here and it's thug life.
Yeah.
I need us to. I want to practice my. It was a prophet that gave me a word, and I feel like somebody here gonna hear it or they're gonna see this video, and they said, "Tuwan, I see you in the spirit, and in one hand you carrying a hammer, and in another hand you carrying a sword, because what's about to happen in this season of your life is you're gonna have to build and destroy at the same time.
Oh.
And what I tell people is in your relational spaces, don't get so caught up on what you're trying to build that you don't destroy the things that need to be teared down. There's
Okay.
some stuff that ain't supposed to exist.
That's true.
You might be with a man who has never had a woman express himself emotionally. It's time for you to tear down whatever he believes that makes that normal.
Okay.
It ain't like you can't do that no more. Just listen to him.
Yeah.
Just go listen to him. Just go talk to him. It's really that easy. And I'm telling y'all, man, that's y'all super strength. Because y'all could say anything and we be ready to do everything.
I know. That's
Man, we
true.
got to, hey, ladies smile at you and tell you keep going. Hey, you know what? I thought I was tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it. Don't even worry about it.
Like,
Don't even worry about it. I got it. And that's it. So it's like, excuse me. It's like, for me, wherever we at right now in these relationships is because that's where we choosing to be.
Okay.
That's how I see it. I don't think it's that complicated. You know what ain't gonna work for you. Let it go.
Let it go.
Stop being afraid to be by yourself.
Yeah, that part.
Stop being afraid to be by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And be honest. So if it really was just about connection, how would you deal with the people that's in your life?
Okay.
If it wasn't, oh, I need them to pay or they gotta be like, if you really just had to deal with the fullness of a person in a moment,
right?
What would you do? Most of the time, it wouldn't be whatever it is we do it.
That's
You wouldn't talk to that person if you was healed.
That is
You
so
sure
true.
wouldn't.
No, absolutely
You sure
not.
would not.
Absolutely
You don't
not.
even like them for real. I got a book coming out, teaser. It talks about sensual health. It talks about intimacy. It talks about connection in that way. And one of the chapters in it goes, "You're not horny, you're hurt."
Ooh, okay.
And it's like, really think about what's going on.
That's true.
Really think about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a lot of my brothers that you might have been a player at some point in your life. You might have been
for sure.
You might have had a lot of female friends. You know what I recognize is when I was in the marriage before all the issues and stuff, I didn't even realize that I was that sensitive.
Okay.
I didn't realize I was that emotionally in tune and available.
Wow.
When my daughter was born, I used to, and when I knew she was coming, I used to come in the house after work, really like on some 90s sitcom stuff, drop my bags at the door, walk up the stairs. I'm tired, climbing the stairs, all the way up here, open the door, and she would be laying on the bed watching TV. I would take off everything at the door, and I would go lay down in front of the bed, and I would put my head on her mom's stomach, and I would talk to my daughter for hours.
Aww.
Yeah, and it's definitely got some awe to it, but that's not my forte. But it was. But I'm also the same dude who fought, was arrested, gang affiliations, in and out of jail at different points in my life. I had this history of not being capable of moments like that. And the crazy part is the trauma that I was showcasing made more sense to the identity that the world had for me than who I actually was. So here I am in this moment and I'm rehearsing it. Am I doing it right? Did I walk up the stairs right? Did I lay down right? Am I saying the right stuff? I'm going through all of these things. Oh, no. And I don't do none of that with the trauma stuff. Yeah. I just execute. I don't got to go through none of that. I don't got to prepare for none of that. But it's you realize, hey, this stuff has never been you. It's just been the you that you've been presented with. You don't got to be none of this stuff.
Show down.
So that's what I'm saying. In the right environment, I went out there and I did all of that, man. So yeah, when it come to dating, like we was talking about earlier, hey man, it ain't so much about the job. It ain't even all the other. I want to be in an environment where I get to practice those things. Yeah. I don't got to be I done did that. I was the best at being the worst. Now I want to do some of this other stuff. Okay. So yeah, she don't make me feel lovey-dovey and want to watch. What's that? The note, the letter. What's that stuff that they be talking about it all that?
Oh, the Notebook.
The Notebook. See, look, I have no idea. If she don't make me want to practice stuff like that, man, I'm cool, man. I ain't about to. You got that, man. Come on, man. We in here watching. We watching. They rap battling together. You more turned than I am. We watching. Come on, man. Shout out URL, man. We, you know what I'm saying? Like we going through some things, and you were there. Yeah, I ain't playing, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, girl. I ain't like I'm not into that, man. It's just you just realize like, and I ain't saying don't be you. We can share those things
For sure.
but it's like, as a man,
yeah,
that's kind of what I figured out. It's like,
okay,
yeah, nah, it's time for that, and a lot of us as men, we got to learn how to be okay with that, and that means being with a woman who can understand the complexity
yeah,
of a situation like that. What if it wasn't about you having to do too much and you was teaching me how to be softer? What if that's the disconnect between us?
Okay.
So, oh my goodness, I feel like I just I just hit me. So like, what if what we see with the hyper independence and the aggression in women is a reflection of what they missing from men, but are not allowing themselves to take the lesson and trying to figure out. And the sensitivity that they're complaining about with these men nowadays is mishandling what we supposed to get taught from y'all in the first place.
For sure.
Like, what if it's that? What if I don't know how to do a 20-second hug and something about you make me melt for 20 seconds?
Yeah, that part.
Just hugging on you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, when you start looking at it like that, it's like, I ain't about to, man. You got, we ain't. Come on, man. I got great stuff I'm trying to do. I can't be worried about, well, I'm saying what my woman said, what she doing, was she in another room. Like, I ain't into that, man. Go be great.
Yeah.
Like, that don't bother me none. Go be great. Do everything.
Yeah.
But man, don't ever make me feel like I gotta wait.
Oh, no,
all
that's
that other
right.
stuff. I can't.
Absolutely not.
Shout out to y'all that can. Shout out to that pastor that was like,
yeah,
you just gotta go to God because you ain't gonna never. Hey.
Wow.
Good for you.
I got an idea who you might have. We don't talk when the cameras is off because I got a feeling I know who this pastor is.
I ain't say no names, but don't go to everybody's church, y'all.
No, for sure.
Don't go to everybody's church.
Use discernment.
Don't go to everybody's church.
Even when it comes to choosing the church, okay?
Don't go to everybody. Sometimes you just there to you was just there to water the grass, and you done started cutting, trimming bushes, and all of that. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta plant the seed to keep it moving.
That's it.
Drop the seed to keep going.
That might have just been your season up.
Yeah, that's it. Oh no, I ain't never going back.
Yeah, I feel you. And listen, I can respect, our gents out here who really have matured, really have healed, who really are, to your point, knowing when something ain't right, and you know what, respectfully, it was nice meeting you, but goodbye, because we brought up earlier today where, the chivalry part, like some people feel like it's dead, and some can't appreciate it. Like you said, you had instances where opening the door was a problem. Yeah. And makes no sense to me still to this day. I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's a thing.
Okay. But I recall watching on TikTok, there's this guy I follow. He makes a hilarious, skits about it, because shout out to my gents that are standing up for themselves and saying enough is enough. There was one video in particular, he was picking her up at her house, about to take her on a date. And he brought her flowers, like, oh, okay, you should have. You know what I mean? Like, to your point, where they just feel like they're entitled. Like they and he was like, okay. And then he went to go open the door. She was like, oh, you opening the door for me? He was like, yeah, I'm gonna open the door. Oh, yeah, you right, you know what to do. And he like, hold that thought. He shut that door, got in his truck, and drove off. He was like, thank you, but no thank you. Yeah. We got to get to that place, beauties and gents, where if somebody's showing who they are right from that moment, believe them and move on. Because to your point, they just aren't there yet where you're at, and you already know it's gonna clash. Yeah. It's gonna clash. It just ain't gonna hit. Yeah. So I do have to ask you this as we're winding down. Because we've talked a lot about emotional intelligence. Clearly, you definitely have a good handle on that. And again, I think me and you both can have this similar background of we learn from our mistakes. We were young. We had to figure this thing out. We took the time after to figure it out and know what we could do better. Yep. So what is it that you're looking for in your queen? Ooh. What does a healed man look for in his queen to be?
Man, it's an eye piece, because you're not responsible for building or taking that from me. I hear a lot of people say that, just be my piece. I'm cool on that, because you ain't gonna mess that up. So as you start moving like that's what you about to do, this ain't gonna work.
You out of here.
What I think is to the point of what I said earlier. Like, you're not responsible for healing me, but we are all responsible for creating environments for people in our life to heal in.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm looking at a woman, is this an environment where I can grow, heal, and get whatever it is God got for me? Whether it's a revelation, whether it's an opportunity, can I be here and still be at the capacity I need to do this? And the women, they kind of they wean themselves out of that. Like you be
Easily.
surprised how difficult it is for some women to display softness.
Oh
So
no.
now it's like, all right, so when I don't need you to be the thug, when your accolades
Yeah.
don't matter, when it's just about us connecting, who are you? And it's so bare there. That's one of the things that I think, like if you go through marriage, divorce, and then you go through your phases of healing, I think that's one of the things. It's like we not even having, don't even talk to me about that relationship stuff until you know somewhere that you're ready for what come with that. It's kind of like when you go through it, you understand what it is. And your journey becomes not being so sensitive
Yeah.
that you end up sabotaging stuff. But you also get to a point where you like, I don't want to play with you like that.
For sure.
And I don't want you to play with me like that.
Absolutely.
You could just tell me you think I'm cute. We move on with our day. we ain't gotta
we ain't
gotta do none of that. We ain't gotta talk like we like. But you can't tell me you like me and then not really be sure. So I would say that's what I want. I want us to connect past all the stuff we see.
Yeah.
That was deep for somebody. Somebody caught that.
Hey, it was real deep.
Connect past everything. If all this stuff was invisible and it was just us,
yeah.
How would we feel after we spent some time with each other? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do that if you're in a relationship too. 10 minutes, crisscross, hold each other's hand.
All right.
Just look at each other, turn everything off.
That's it.
You don't like that person that much, I promise you. You don't like him as much as you think you do. Just sit with him quiet.
I cannot.
That's it. That's all I got.
So if they get past the 10 minutes,
oh
then
yeah,
I
you
guess
might be
it's a match made in heaven, huh?
Quiet.
Quiet is different.
Only thing louder than loud is silence.
Yeah.
It's the only thing like it quiets. Man, what?
Okay.
Find a man that can sit in quiet.
Well, find a beauty that can sit in quiet. Because I don't know if I can do 10 minutes without saying something. Like, you good?
Say something. Say something, but it's
you
just like
there, you sleep.
It's the ability to share a space with somebody.
No, for sure.
And we don't practice that like that.
Yeah.
So just find somebody that you can, so for me, shorty it gotta feel safe. I'm talking about like, like she already cold like that. It ain't nothing I can do to build that, to mess that up. That's just her.
Right,
so now we just get to just grow together. Like, but that's another thing. All that he made me do, you ain't my type. Cause no man should have that much control over what you got going on.
Yep.
You saying God gave you purpose and direction, and he still was able to. Yeah, I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that.
True.
Lock
that's
in.
True. And that comes with getting with yourself and realizing like there's some things that you got to take ownership of. Yes, their actions is what they do, but it's how you react.
How you handle.
All right.
So yeah, she did wrong. That don't mean you get to cheat. Cause I'm talking to. I know my homies gonna watch this. Y'all watching this from the hood. What up? I ain't gonna throw up no gang signs. It's not that type of situation. But you don't get to blame them. You don't get to blame people for nothing you do.
Yeah.
Relationship, life, business. If it mean that and you want that, go after that. But stop blaming it. So when it come to your queen, move like that so she can have room to exist in that space. So she can just be who she need to be, and you can be who you need to be, and y'all can cover each other. But don't do all that. Spend some time with them by yourself.
All right. So when it comes to my final question that I love asking my guests, because every answer thus far, which I already knew, y'all, that's why I kind of did this. Every answer has been different, but it's been unique and powerful in its own way.
Thank you.
So, Tuwan.
Yes.
I was going to do your whole government name, but I ain't going to do that to you.
Thank you.
I have to ask, what makes you beautiful?
What makes me beautiful? I think, man, wow. I've developed the uncanny ability.
Okay, with the words.
Yeah. This is where the music starts playing and it builds up. And it flashes pieces of my superhero costume a little bit. So it's like some Nikes and it's like the Lionhearted logo in the shirt. What makes me beautiful is I've developed the uncanny ability to cry first.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I cry first.
Okay.
And it's such power in that.
It is.
I'm free, and I don't care how it looks like what I used to. So, and what I found is it's a lot of other people that want to cry.
Yeah.
But they acting like they don't.
They won't do it.
And when they see that large dude that got a brand, that got all this other stuff, and he got people, and you could feel me first. Somebody asked me, they said, well, what makes you unique as a speaker? What is it, the thing that people feel me?
Yeah.
It ain't, so I cry first. That's what makes me beautiful. It's been the space, my tears of water, futures for daughters, hope for sons, integrity for men, belief for women. This ability to be the first at vulnerability, compassion, all these other things that we oftentimes look at as a weakness.
Yeah.
My ability to live in that first showed me what my strength was.
Okay.
And I got to go on that journey. I thought strength was these things.
Yeah.
And then the transition occurred, and it was like, what if all of those things was the weakness?
Ooh.
And now you got to do that. So yeah, that's what makes me beautiful. I am pain manifested in a purpose.
Okay.
It's a different and I'm me still. And yo, shout out to God too, because I'm me still. Like I thought I had to be. I got to talk like this guy, move like that. It's like, nah, you don't found success. You was you.
Yeah.
It was you, and only embracing vulnerability allows you to do that. So for my brothers, the gents, the Beauts, whoever's watching, right? Being okay with that.
Okay.
So yeah, I cry with my head up.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's enough said.
Oh, and if she don't wipe your tear when you cry with your head up, stop talking to her.
Ooh. Well, there you go.
Boy,
you're right, because I can appreciate me a man that can show emotions now, and that type of emotion, not just rah. Yeah. But can be, can actually feel safe enough to cry around me. So okay.
Safe enough, and you leading, my G, because if you crying with your head up, you're not hiding when they fall. And for her to go wipe them, show she still see who you is.
Aww.
Like, that's cool. Like, you got room for some more of them to fall. So this is why you lead with that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the beauty. That's what it is.
Well, that is beautiful.
I be crying.
Well, okay, my crying giant.
These nights still, but I be,
okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? You gotta just, man, cry, and that's a start. That's let y'all story start there.
All right.
That's it.
That's all. Listen, what a way to end it, you guys. Because listen, I told you I don't come to play. When I come with these episodes, I come with that heat. And what better way than to have great guests on like Tuwan and so many others that can be able to bless us with some knowledge and understanding. Why are you doing that?
I'm sorry.
So I hope you guys have got a lot out of tonight's episode. Yeah. And for the ones that have subscribed, thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Shout out to Bree, Overflow Studios. Again, continuously making this episode glorious, and beautiful nonetheless. All right, now I got more tea for you. In fact, I got more tea for you guys too. So make sure you guys come in and tune in to the next episode of Beaut Told.
Excellent plug. Excellent plug. Yes. Excellent plug.
Hey,
Yeah.
And of course, you guys. You're so silly. Of course, you guys, as always, let's make a change. Yeah.